Howard is away and David is away, so I am leading services tonight. So welcome everyone here and at home. We begin with a niggun, a very familiar one that any of our old-time members remember very well from Rabbi Rosenberg. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom. We begin our service tonight on page 120 and 121 with the lighting of the candles, and I would like to invite our Oneg hosts up to light the candles, Joanna and Victor, and Edie and Jerry Weinstein. So either of these two readings, and then someone else can light the candles.
Should we do the reading first? Yeah.
Okay, sure, I'll do that.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Please join us. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, Shel Shabbat. We continue on page 128 with the singing of Hine Matov. Hine matov umanahim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanahim shevet achyot gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine matov umanahim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanahim shevet achyot gam yachad. We continue on page 138 with Lechado D. We will be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, and the melody that I've chosen tonight is a very traditional melody that many of you probably will recognize. And when we get to the 9th verse, we all stand up and we turn around as we welcome the Sabbath bride. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmianu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad, Ushmo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'li tila, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechuven elcha, Ki mikor haberacha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof mahaseh b'machshat chila, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, Kiva orech kumi ori, uri, uri, shir daberi, Kivod Adonai alayich nigla, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha uv'sochola, Toch emuneh am segula. Boi chala, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. We continue now with the Hatzi Kaddish on page 144. Yitgadal v'yitkadash meraba, V'yamad divrach hirtei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uv'yomechon, Uv'chayedecho beit Yisrael, Bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv, v'meru. Yeshme rabba mevorach, leolam lal me'almaya, yitbarach, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shmei dekudesha, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiram b'alma, v'meru, amen. We rise once again for the Baruch Hu, our call to worship. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ooh, 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 ooh. You may be seated. We continue together in the English on page 148. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. We continue with Ahavat Olam on page 150. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Amcha Ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadita, otanu limadita. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbenu, uvkumenu nahasiach bechukecha. V'nismach b'divrei Toratcha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael. We turn to page 152 as we rise for the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malachuto Leolam Evaen. You may be seated, and we continue on page 154 with the V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom halevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha b'veitecha, uvlechtecha v'derech, uv'shachbecha uv'kumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beinenecha, uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tiskeru, va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, vitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. We continue responsively in the middle of page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and peace. Then shall we rejoice exclusively, sing
Page 158, Micha Mocha. Yai lai lai la lai la 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 la. Yai lai lai la lai la 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 la. Ya lai la lai la lai la 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 la. Ya la lai lai la 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 la. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nedor ba'kodesh, Nora tehilot osefele, Nora tehilot osefele. Malchutecha ra'u v'anecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Zehelianu v'amru, Zehelianu v'ameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. In 2 weeks, when it's Shabbat Shira, David and I will be up here singing the Micha Mocha, and we go right into Miriam's song, and everyone gets up and they start dancing, and it's a lot of ruach, a lot of spirit, and it's just a great night. We continue with the Hashkivenu prayer on page 161 and 160 and 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, L'shalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. We continue with our prayer on page 162, the Vishamru prayer, our prayer to celebrate the sheer joy of Shabbat. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam berit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael od hi leolam, od hi leolam, od hi leolam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam berit olam. We turn to page 164 as we rise once again for tefillah. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agid tefilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Page 166. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot v'imahot, U'mevi geula lifnei b'nehem, L'ma'an shemo b'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Izrat Sarah. Page 168. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol atarav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishene Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Givurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memid, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'neheman atalech hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Page 170, Ata kadosh, v'shimcha kadosh, u'kedoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. We join together at the top of page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue with our prayer of gratitude on the top of 177, and we'll join together. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. On page 178 is our prayer for peace, and more than ever, we need peace. It's been quite a week. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha livarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol heit u'b'chol shah b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Please take a few minutes for private prayer, and when we come back, we will be in the middle of page 180. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Yehiyu liratzon imrefi vehegyon libi lefanecha Adonai Suri Adonai Vegoali Ose Shalom Bimromav Uyase Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel. We continue with our prayer for healing on page 371. And tonight we are particularly thinking about Joanne DeVoe, Roberta Siegel, Lee Glantz, Barbara Gold, Parker Benjamin Curry, George Berman, Marcy Kaufman, Bonnie Jaffe, Doris Katz, Emily Haw, Carol Knopf, Madeline Cantor, and David Messing. Is there anyone else here who is thinking of someone who may be in need of healing? Pam Altman,
Jeffrey Hodges. Betty Ann Kessel.
Misheberach Avotenu Mekor Haberacha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach Imotenu Mekor Haberacha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We also celebrate the good things in our lives, our firsts, and the Shehekianu, which can be found on page 648. So who has a Shehekianu moment they'd like to share? Sarah.
After 4 months of unemployment, I have a new job starting on Monday.
Mazel tov. Sarah Herman has a new job.
I'll be working with the Brown Risky Fellow.
Oh, wow.
Development and Board of Trustees and kind of special projects and things.
She'll be working with the Brown Risty Hillel Development and Special Projects. Anybody else? Quiet week. All right. Can you tell me your name again? Michaela is planning a trip with her grandfather to go to Puerto Rico. If you need any ideas of places to go, I grew up there. Yes. Oh, okay. Okay. Anyone else? Well, for all these wonderful things, our first, we say Shehekianu, and we sing on page 648. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen. So, when I lead services, giving a sermon, that's not in my wheelhouse. But I thought it would be good to share kind of like a synopsis of this week's Torah portion, because we're in the second portion of the book of Exodus. So last week was Shemot. That's where Moses was born. Moses ends up living in the house of the Pharaoh, and he runs away. He kills an Egyptian, I believe, and he runs away. And that's where he goes to Midian, and he meets Zipporah, his wife, and then he sees the burning bush, and God sends him back to Egypt. So in this portion, Va'era, God summons Moses, and so that Moses will ask Pharaoh to free the Israelites, and God and Moses form this very special relationship. He says, I will take you to be my people, and I will be your God. Moses, though, he's very skittish about this because he has a speech impediment. So God appoints his brother Aaron to be his spokesman. And then God goes on to explain to him that Pharaoh's heart will be hardened to demonstrate the extent of God's might to the Egyptians. And in this portion and the next portion, God hardens Pharaoh's heart 5 times, and Pharaoh hardens his own heart 5 times, for a total of 10 times. So to show his might, Moses and Aaron, they go and they appear before Pharaoh, and they kind of take the rod and cast it down, and the rod turns into a snake. But Pharaoh's magicians are like, we can do it too, and they do. And then the next morning, Moses and Aaron go to the banks of the Nile, and they strike the water again. They strike the water with that rod again, and the Nile turns to blood, and all the fish die. And again, Pharaoh's magicians, they replicate this wonder, and Pharaoh says, nope, not happening. So after 7 days, God tells Moses to threaten Pharaoh with a plague of frogs. And there's so many frogs that the whole land is covered. And Pharaoh asks Moses to plead with God to remove them. And so Moses says, okay, because he wants to show Pharaoh that there's nobody mightier than God. The frogs die, yet Pharaoh, he still won't bend. So then the next thing that Aaron does is he holds out his arm, and he strikes the dust with his rod, and a whole plague of lice swarms throughout Egypt. And this time the magicians, they can't replicate it, and they start realizing that this is God doing this, the finger of God. But Pharaoh still won't relent. So then Moses threatens a plague of locusts, which eat up all the crops. And Pharaoh summons Moses and Aaron, and he says, all right, you can leave. All they had really asked for was to go 3 days into the wilderness. And he says, you can go and you can sacrifice to your God, but please ask God to get rid of the insects. So God gets rid of the insects, and guess what happens? Pharaoh reneges. And so then the next day, it's the plague of pestilence. And it wipes out all the Egyptian livestock, but not the Israelite livestock. And he still won't free the slaves. So then Moses and Aaron throw up handfuls of soot, which become a fine dust throughout Egypt, causing boils on the people and all the remaining animals. It was so severe that it strikes all the magicians too. But Pharaoh's heart is still hardened. He won't relent. So Moses says, okay, now the next plague's going to be hail. And those Egyptians who revere God take their slaves and livestock inside. The hail is so heavy, fire flashing in its midst, that it wreaks widespread devastation. But no hail in Goshen, where the Israelites were. Pharaoh goes to Moses and he says, please, please intervene. But guess what happens when the hail is done or is gone? He says, nope, not going to do it. So that's where the portion ends, because it's actually this portion and next portion are the rest of the plagues. So that's just a little taste of this week's Torah portion. And next week will be more of the plagues, culminating in the death of the firstborn. And then 2 weeks from now is the crossing of the Sea of Reeds, when they finally do get to go. Shabbat Shira. We conclude our service on page 586 as we rise for the Aleinu in the middle of the page. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gedula l'yotzer b'reishit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gahor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, page 591. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד. Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad. You may be seated. This evening, we remember two recent deaths. We remember Alex Friedman, beloved husband of Sandy Friedman, beloved father of Adam, Eli, and Nate Friedman, and friends of many at Temple Habonim. We also remember Lottie Buff, beloved mother of Alan Buff, beloved mother-in-law of Pat Buff, beloved grandmother to Joel and Noah, and Catherine Buff. We also remember the yahrzeit of Fred Reinowitz, father of Robin Alsid, father-in-law of Julian Alsid, grandfather of Bella and Layla Alsid. Harry Friedman, husband of Helena Friedman. Faye Rosenthal, cousin of Shoshana Landau. Lois France, grandmother of Christopher Miriam Lane. Ida Larish, mother of Victor Larish, mother-in-law of Joanna Futransky. Robert Mencken, brother of Rick Mencken, uncle of Samantha Mencken. Sheldon Graber, father of Allison Luchka. Robert Roy, brother of Maxine Richmond and uncle of Wendy Levinson. John Exel, husband of Hillary Rosenfeld, father of Hannah Exel, father-in-law of M.J. Robinson. Zangwell Weinberg, grandfather of Andrea Russell. Frida Back, mother of Edie Weinstein, mother-in-law of Jerry Weinstein, grandmother of Debbie Weinstein and Eric Morrow, great-grandmother of Zachary and Lillian. Morris Back, father of Edie Weinstein, father-in-law of Jerry Weinstein, grandfather of Debbie Weinstein and Eric Morrow, great-grandfather of Zachary and Lillian. And Patricia Engel, mother of Kristen Winokur, mother-in-law of David Winokur. Is there anyone else observing a yahrzeit that I did not mention? We rise for the Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Yamad divrach yirtei malchutei, Hayechon uvyomechon v'hayeh dechol beit Yisrael, Hagala zman kariv v'imru amen. V'hei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulamei amayah. V'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, min kol birchata v'shirata, shpachata v'nehemata, dam iran v'yamad v'yimru, amen. Hey shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, ru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us all and to all Israel, to which we say amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, v'yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol Yoshvei Tevel. You may be seated. Sorry. I don't know what happened. I just started choking. Okay, we have some announcements. Okay, at the conclusion of the service, if you could return your books to the cabinet. We'd like to thank our greeter tonight, Brandon Winkler, and our Oneg hosts, Victor and Joanna Larish, and Edie and Jerry Weinstein. There is no Torah study tomorrow morning. The Purim Spiel with Taylor Swift theme music continues this summer, Sunday, and most Sundays through Purim, which is March 13th. Please join us from 12 to 1 on Sundays. Mini Mensch's Jewish playgroup is back this Sunday, January 26th, from 10 to 11:30 in the social hall. It's for parents and grandparents and children who are ages 0 to 3 to build community among families with young children. Shabbat Shira is 2 weeks from tonight at 7 o'clock, followed by a delicious and festive oneg. If you would like to be involved, you can reach out to me. And if you'd like to bring something for the oneg, you can email Candace Bear. We have 2 book talks in February. On Tuesday, February 11th, from 7 to 8:30, is Mark Patinkin, and he's going to talk about his book, The Holy Land at War, A Journey Through Israel, the West Bank, and Gaza. In addition to telling Rhode Island's story over decades, Mark has traveled abroad to write about the Lebanon Civil War, the First Intifada, the collapse of European communism, and now war in the Middle East. Then our second book talk will be with our member, Dr. Rebecca Brenner Graham, and that will be on Wednesday, February 19th at 7 o'clock. Rebecca is going to talk about her book, Dear Miss Perkins, a story of Frances Perkins' efforts to aid refugees from Nazi Germany. The book is a fascinating portrait of the progressive female trailblazer and U.S. Secretary for Labor who navigated the foreboding rise of Nazism in her battle to make America a safer place for refugees. And I guess that's it. Kiddush and Motzi. I guess we have no young people tonight.
What do you mean?
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Barei pri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. And for a closing song tonight, I would like to do the priestly, a contemporary version of the priestly blessing by Julie Silver, who actually was here about 5 years ago. And I had the privilege of singing this at my daughter's Ufruf at the Barrington Beach 8 years ago, I think. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you with good and keep you safe. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God be with you and be kind to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, shalom. May you always know that God is close, and may God give you the gift, the gift of peace. Shabbat Shalom.